very good morning, students. This is your English teacher Benu Sehrawat, and I welcome you all to RKP online classes. Now, in our last video, we learned to differentiate between finite and non-finite verbs, right? And we also understood how to identify a non-finite verb in a sentence. Okay, just to have a quick revision. Okay, let's just refresh our mind and all the things which we learned in our last class. I hope that they all are still intact in your mind. Okay, so the basic difference between a finite and a non-finite verb is that finite verb, they show tense. Okay, for example, when we use like I go, I went, I shall go. So if you see here the verb go, it is changing according to the tense, right? That means it is a finite verb. And whereas non-finite verb, it doesn't change. It remains as it is. For example, if I say I wanted to meet him, I wanted to meet him. Even if I change the tense, I want to meet him, you see there is no change in the form of the verb to meet, right? So that means it is a non-finite verb. Alright, so today in this class we will talk about different types of non-finite verbs. Okay, so basically there are three types of non-finite verbs. There are three types of non-finite verbs. First is infinitives. Second is gerund, and third is participles. Okay, participles. Now, beta, all these, out of these three, these two, infinitives and gerund, they both work as a noun. Okay, they both work as a noun. Of course, they are called verbs, but they work as a noun. Okay, that is the reason we call them verbal nouns also. What do we call them? We call them verbal nouns. Now, as I said, they work as a noun. So we all know, we already know about this, that what are the functions of noun in a sentence. Okay, so it can work as a subject in the sentence, right? It can work as an object. It can work as the complement in the sentence, right? So this is all the functions of, we can use both infinitives and gerunds as noun, alright, where they act exactly as the nouns. So before proceeding further, I would like to we would like to revise these things, because we'll be talking about their function as a subject, as an object. So it's important that we know what is subject, what is object, all these things, right? So subject is basically the person or the thing that the idea that we are talking about in a sentence, or the doer of the action. Okay, so it has to be either something or someone we are talking about, or it has to be the doer of the action. That is called subject. And in active form of verbs, in active sentences, it comes in the beginning of the sentence. Okay, now exactly opposite, object is the receiver of the action. Okay, the receiver of the action, on whom or on which the action is done. Okay, action is performed. That is called the object of the sentence. And in active sentences, it comes at the end of the sentence. Okay, of course in passive it changes, the object comes at the in the beginning and subject goes at the last. That is just because of the emphasis that we want to put on, whether the subject is important or the object. So that is another thing that is related to voice. Okay, so and subject complement. Complement is better which gives us complete sense in a sentence. Now if you focus on the word complement, it means to complete something. Okay, complement means to complete something. So it is very easy to remember this thing, that complement in the sentences which gives which helps in making complete sense in the sentence. All right, so now we'll move further now, and we will talk about the first type, that is infinitives. Now beta, infinitive is further divided into two categories. Okay, infinitive is further divided into two categories, that is, first is to infinitive. And second is bare infinitive. Bare infinitive. Now first we will focus upon to infinitive. Now to infinitive is 2 plus V1. Okay, when we add to before first form of verb, that is to infinitive. Now when we communicate, while communicating, we use to infinitive very frequently. Seriously, we use it very frequently. Now we'll discuss in what ways do we actually use to infinitive in the sentences. Now I framed few sentences here. First is to err is human. Okay, to err is human. To err means basically to to make mistakes. Okay, to err means to make errors. All right, now beta, if you see here, this is, sorry, it has to be capital. Okay, to err is human. Now if you see here beta, this is to infinitive here in the sentence. Okay, and it is acting as the subject here. Okay, see, you can see here it is coming at the place of subject. Okay, so this is acting as the subject in this sentence, right? Second is to solve this sum is not easy. Now again, if you see here, I am sure you all might have identified the to infinitive here, right? Of course, to solve is the infinitive acting as the subject. Okay, to solve this sum is not easy. Now next is to find faults is easy. When somebody does something and we say, this is not good, you could have done this in this way, okay, it could have been better. All right, so we are prone to these things. We are habitual of doing these things sometimes, which is very bad actually. So here, of course, to find is the infinitive here, to infinitive, which is of course acting as the subject. Alright, so these were the examples where to infinitive is used as the subject. Okay, now moving further, next is when we use to infinitive as object. Now you all know, in active sentences, when we are writing the sentences in active voice, the object comes at the end. Okay, it comes at the end. So here the sentences we'll frame now, in all these sentences, the to infinitive, the verb to infinitive, that will come at the end. Okay, so meanwhile you can also frame some few sentences in your mind. First is, he wants to leave. Now if you see here, to infinitive here has been used as the object in the sentence. Okay, he wants what? He wants to leave. So yes, here to infinitive, that is to leave, has been used as the object. Is that clear? Alright, next example we can say, let's make a sentence with it also, starting with it. Okay, it is not allowed to stand here. Okay, it is not allowed to stand here. Now what is not allowed? Okay, to stand, this is not allowed. Now you can see this is to infinitive and it is working as the object in the sentence. Okay, so I hope you have understood how to infinitive is used in sentences as subject and object. Alright, now moving further, we'll talk about when to infinitive is used as a verb complement. Okay, where it is working as a complement to the verb. Okay, so I told you in the beginning only that a complement is something which gives meaning to the whole sentence. Without the complement, it is hard, it is difficult for us to get the sense of the sentence. Alright, so let's make a sentence here. Her desire is to become a doctor. Okay, of course you have different ambitions, of course, but here as a sentence we'll say her desire is to become a doctor. Now beta, if we remove this part of the sentence after to, if we remove this sentence and we just keep it till here, her desire is, do we get any sense? No, we don't get any sense. We just know that her desire is, but what exactly her desire is, we don't know. But when we add to become a doctor, it gives a sense to the whole sentence. Okay, so her desire is to become a doctor. Now to become, that is the to infinitive, which is acting as the verb complement. Okay, Now see this sentence. He was to sell his house last month. Okay, now first of all, the sense of the sentence is he was to sell, but it means he did not actually sell his house. Okay, so he was to sell his house last month. Now if you see here, if we keep the sentence still here, he was, all right, so we don't get any sense, it is incomplete, right? But and this is the verb. If you see here, okay, here it was the verb is, and here it is was, right? So this, the to infinitive here, to sell, it gives meaning to the verb, right? We get the complete sense, so it acts as the complement to the verb here, and we get the complete sense of the sentence as well.